Hey guys, Tom here, Off Leash Canine Training. Congratulations, if you're watching this video, that means your dog has graduated our famous 2-week board and train program. And the reason why I'm here with you right now is because I want to break down the remote training collar. I want to explain exactly how we utilize it so that you have a very proper understanding, a very good understanding of how we made your dog amazing. And you can always refer back to this video if you ever have any questions or if you forgot something that we went over during that very in-depth turnover when you came and picked up your dog. So let's get right into it. Just like with everything, you have, excuse me, you have an owner's manual, right? You can read through it. Now keep in mind, if you do read through it, you're probably gonna read some things that I didn't go over because I'm not going over everything that this awesome tool can do. I'm just going over what we utilize here at Off Leash Canine Training. But you have this, if you wanna read through it, by all means, go ahead. The phone number to the company is on the back. The phone number to the company is also on the back of the remote itself. So if you have any questions, if anything goes wrong or you know, something stopped working, which I doubt is going to happen because this is an amazing tool, really good quality, just give them a call. They're going to take care of you. And if they don't give me a call, then I'll take care of you. All right. You can ask anybody that has gone through this program. E-collar customer service is amazing, and so is ours. All right, let's get right into it. Let me go ahead and put this aside. First things first, we're going to talk about charging this bad boy. It's really important for the next couple weeks. You want to charge it as much as you can. You want the remote collar and the remote itself to be fully charged throughout the whole day. You don't want to run into the chance of you giving your dog a command and not being able to follow through with the methods that I'm about to explain to you in a few minutes. So you want to make sure it's charged every night. Make sure you have like a charging station, just like you do with your cell phone. You know, my dog's charging stations are by their crates. You know, the crates are up in the bedroom, so that the e-collars are always set up there. And they're always fully charged if I ever do need to use them. It's one charger that branches off into 2 plugs. Now, the charging ports on the back, they have a little rubber flap. Why is there a rubber flap there? Because this whole thing is completely waterproof, 100% waterproof. I could throw this in the river behind me, or the lake behind me, and it will completely float. I'm not gonna do that. I don't wanna go run in and get it. This is 100% waterproof as well, but it does not float, but it's gonna be nice and secured on your dog either way, so we won't have to worry about that. All right, so those charging ports have a rubber flap. You make sure that flap is secured if you are going into the water, because we don't want to get water into those electrical components. All right, let's set the charger aside. Now we're going to talk about the remote collar and how to turn it on. All right, there's a red dot on the collar. Right now it's actually on. Let me go ahead and turn it off. All right, so there's a red dot here and a red dot on the remote. Now don't get this red dot confused with the red button. All right, I'm going to take this red dot and just kind of hover it over until the light turns green. Now you're asking, well, how do you turn on the remote? This is how you turn on the remote. There's an on and off button on the back. I'm gonna take my index finger, press and hold. I just turned it off. Press and hold, just turned it on. All right, so now it's on. Remote is on, collar is on. Turning on the collar, red dot to red dot. Turning on the remote, press and hold for a few seconds. This on and off button on the back. Now this on and off button also has an L on it, which stands for light. I call it a night light. Now if I just tap the night light button, a little strobing LED light comes on. It's pretty cool. I mean, you can see it in the daylight now. At night, it's super bright. If I tap it again, it's solid. I like to use the solid light personally. Tap it again and it shuts off. So pretty cool. You're going hiking, camping or something, or if you just have property and your dog's in the backyard, you don't know where he's at, you can just give that little light a tap, boom, you're gonna find him real quick. All right, so what this light, there's a couple different colors that this light will beep. Green, now think of it like a traffic light. Green, power's good to go. If it starts blinking yellow or kind of an orange, amberish color, the battery's starting to slow down. Technically, I believe it's 30 to 50% battery left, which should last you probably half a day, maybe more, depending on how much you're using the collar. And then if it's blinking red, just like a traffic light, that power is about to stop at any moment. So I would not rely on this remote training collar to communicate with your dog somewhere like this or anywhere off leash and expect to be able to talk to him and say, hey, Fido, nope, you can't go chase that duck. You got to come back to me, or you got to sit, or you got to place. Because if it's red, it could shut off at any moment. So just keep that in mind, guys. Whenever you're going out on an excursion or whatnot, make sure these are charged. All right, now I'm going to talk about the fit of the collar. This is probably the most important thing I'm going to say in the next 20 minutes, all right? The fit of the collar is extremely important. That's the one thing the most people mess up, is the fit of the collar. Everybody's used to the flat dog collar that just hangs on their dog's neck and holds the tags. Well, that's not what this is. This is a training tool. This is a training device. We want it on securely and properly. Why? Because you have contact points on here. Let me push in that waterproof flap there. You have contact points on here. Now imagine if I put this on my arm or my neck, right? I have some dry skin. And I just moved it around, right? Especially because I got that dry skin. I did that for 5 seconds and I'm already irritated, okay? Imagine putting this on your dog and this box being able to move around and shift all day long. Their neck's gonna get irritated. So the goal is, what we wanna strive for is having this on so snug that it can only teeter-totter on your dog's neck. Even if you're wrestling with them or if they're playing with another dog or whatever the case may be, it just teeters back and forth. Now you may be asking yourself, well, how do I know what's tight? How do I know if it's tight enough? Good question. In order to tell yourself and to check and make sure that it's on properly, we use what's called a tight 2-finger fit. So if I'm putting this on a dog, right? First, we want to make sure the box is anywhere under the dog's ears. So here, anywhere under the dog's ears is appropriate, is good. And you want it high up on the neck. The higher on the neck, the better. The more sensitive the dog's neck, which means that they're going to respond to the remote collar sooner than later, which is what you want. So once I get it on and I cinch it down, I'm going to check on the top of his neck. That's important, on the top. I'm not going to go check here, down here, anything. I'm going to check at the top and make sure that I have to forcefully push those 2 fingers in between the collar and his neck. I shouldn't be able to walk over and go whoop real quick, or even worse, that. It should be you should have to use your thumb to get it in there. Do that every time, you can't go wrong. All right, what you don't want to do is leave the turnover with me or any of my trainers or any of our trainers and mark it. You don't want to mark the hole, okay? I've had one person do that, didn't turn out well. Why? Because the dog went out. A couple months later, the dog lost a lot of weight. The circumference of his neck got smaller, but the owner kept utilizing that reference point that they used 3 months prior when they left my home for the training turnover. So always utilize that nice 2-finger fit and you can't go wrong. All right, now we're going to talk about the remote itself, the buttons that we use on the remote. Like I said earlier, I'm not going to go over every single thing that this remote can do because it's going to confuse you and it's information that you do not need. I'm going to go over what we utilize and what we used to make sure that we made your dog amazing. All right, over here, you have a button that has a T on it, all right? It stands for test. That's it. We don't use it for training. It doesn't stand for training. It stands for test. It's not a V for vibrate, but what it does is it does vibrate the collar. So I just use it to test the collar. Let's say I put it on the dog and I forgot whether or not I touched the red button to the red, or the red dot to the red dot. I just reach down, tap, tap, okay, we're good to go. Or maybe it's blinking orange and you just want to make sure that they're still talking to each other, that the remote is talking to the collar. Tap, tap, vibrate, vibrate, good to go. That's it. That's all we use it for. We don't use it for training. This is not going to stop a dog full-fledged 100 miles per hour in their brain going to chase after a squirrel. This ain't going to happen. It ain't going to work. That's why we don't utilize it. All right, next, you have your 2 buttons here. Red button, don't worry about it. We're never going to use it. The only reason why you would use it is if you have 2 dogs, you signed 2 dogs up for our training program, and we trained 1 dog with this button and the other dog with that button. That's it. This black button is the go-to button. This is the button we're going to use 100% of the time with the training methods that we utilize. 100% of the time, all right? Call it the go-to button. This round knob, it's your rotary knob. This changes the levels of stimulation from 0 to 100. 0 to 100. A lot of people say, oh wow, that's a lot of settings. Why do you need a lot? Because all dogs are different. You know, so one dog may not even feel this thing until a 50. Some dogs may feel it at a 10 and we may never ever go above a 30. So it's a good thing that we have all those levels. A lot of people will ask, well, can I use the one from PetSmart that I got that has 10 settings? You could use it. It's not going to work nearly as well as ours, because if you can think back to what I just said, having 100 different levels is 100 different ways we can flow through the levels to figure out what level works for your dog. If we only had 10 levels to fluctuate through and a level 1 was extremely uncomfortable for your dog would always be feeling an extremely uncomfortable sensation and would hate training and would hate doing the commands, and that's not what we want, all right? So rotary knob, went over that, 0 to 100. The antenna is pretty self-explanatory. It can unscrew and come off. These are all accessories that you can get at ecollar.com. You know, if something happens and the rotary knob comes off, if your antenna comes off, you can order those really cheap at ecollar.com. All right, last thing we're going to cover is this tiny little MC button on the back. I'm not going to get too into it, all right? These are the different ways that you can program this remote. Like I said, it's already programmed to the way we use it at Off Leash Canine Training, but what I want you to ensure that your screen always has just a C on it and not an M and a C. All right, so right now I have an M on this side, a C on this side. The way I'm going to toggle through that is I'm just going to touch this M and C button on the back and kind of press it until I shift through and it's only a C. Hopefully it'll autofocus on that for you. Oh, there we go. Hopefully you can see that. So pretty much what your screen's going to display is 1D on the top blinking, a C on the right, and then in the middle is your numbers, 0, 1 through 100. All right, so now what I'm going to do is we're going to get into the meat and the potatoes of all this, how we made your dog amazing. So now this is a training tool, okay? It's really important that you guys understand that. This is a training tool. This is not a method. This is simply a tool, okay? The method is how we utilize that tool. So many people don't understand that, especially other dog trainers out there. They'll say, oh, well, you use the e-collar method. And I'll ask them, well, what do you mean? What method is that? Well, it's the e-collar. Well, there's many, many different ways you can use the e-collar. You can strap it on your dog, turn it to 100, and press the button until the dog freaking goes nutso. That's not how we use it. We use it the way that has made this company so successful. We're able to use it in a way that we communicate with the dogs to where they understand it, and they understand it very quickly. And that's what I'm going to explain to you right now. All right, so what we do is we teach your dog that they get one chance to do what we're asking them to do before we slightly turn up the sensation of the collar and give them a little tickle, right? So what that looks like is let's say I want to place Fido on this table right here, right? He's walking around. I'm going to walk over to the table and I'm going to give him the hand signal or the cue that you're going to learn in our turnover. Place, and then I'm slightly going to turn it up. Now, the first time I said place, and the first time you're going to give your dog the command, it's a freebie. Just like my daughter. When I walk into the room and I say, hey, sweetheart, go upstairs and clean your room, I'm not raising my voice. I'm not yelling at her. I'm not upset. I'm not mad that she didn't listen to me. If she just looked at me and gaffed me off and kept watching her show, then I would get a little bit more stern with her. So it's the exact same concept. Place, that first one was a freebie. Now I slightly turn it up. What I mean by that is slightly, I'm only at a 4. This has 100 levels. The average person doesn't feel this system until roughly a 20. My 8-year-old daughter doesn't feel it till a 30 or a 40, and I feel it around a 15. So that just goes to show you it has nothing to do with the size of a person, the size of a dog, the age of a dog, or anything. It just has to do with their nervous system. All right, let's start over. Place. Did the dog receive any type of sensation? No, because it was the first chance, the first command I gave him. Then I slightly turn it up. Place, slightly turn it up. Place, slightly turn it up. Place, oh, good boy, buddy, good boy, good boy. He comes over, he gets on the platform, he sits automatic. That is how it all works. We give him one chance to do what we're asking him to do before we slightly turn up the sensation of the collar and then ask him to do it again. And then slightly turn up the sensation of the collar and then ask him to do it again. Now, in the beginning stages of all this, we have a 15-foot leash on your dog and we're reeling them in. So we're utilizing like 75% leash and then 25% e-collar. And then throughout that 14 days, we're slowly phasing it and switching it. We're utilizing, 50% e-collar, 50% leash, 60% e-collar, 40% leash, so on and so forth until we're 100% remote training collar. So we're teaching them and we're conditioning them to replace leash pressure, which is what they're used to, collar pressure, with e-collar pressure. So we're going to go over it again. Place, first one was a freebie, I slightly turn it up. Place, second one, slightly turn it up. Place, place, place. Now some people ask, well, Tom, when is the dog feeling the sensation of the collar? I don't know. I have no clue. None of us have any clue. Because if I reached over to you through the phone or camera or whatever you're looking at me through, and I just tapped your shoulder real light, did you feel that? You did, but you didn't give me any type of verbal cue. It's only when they start to get uncomfortable that they give us a verbal cue, whether it's shaking their neck or whatnot. And when a dog is distracted, that's usually the point at which they decide in their head, all right, yeah, I need to shut this collar off, so I'm going to go ahead and listen. Even though I want to stay here and dig after this chipmunk in the ground or whatever, I'm going to go ahead and shut this collar off and listen to mom or dad. And that's why this training is so important and it works so well, because other training methods out there, if it was a hot dog or a treat or something, the dog would be like, nah, I'm good. I'd rather chase after this squirrel or whatever the case may be. So it's one chance per level, slightly turn it up. One chance per level, slightly turn it up. Come, turn it up. Come, turn it up. Come, turn it up. Once the dog has completed the command, you reset by dropping the knob down to 0 and praising. We praise a certain way. We say the command and then we praise it. So, for example, place, place, place. Oh, good boy, puppy, good boy. Boom, he gets on there. Place, good boy, place, good boy, place, good boy. So we say the command and we praise it. Now, keep in mind, let's say I ask him to place, 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 place. Oh, good boy, good boy. And somebody cranks up their motorcycle or a dog starts barking or whatnot. And he takes his attention from me over there. You're gonna carry on right where you left off. So right now I'm at a 5. I'm gonna carry on at a 5. Place, place, which gets him back on track. Think about it. What would you do if this was a 20-foot leash? In order to get your dog's attention with that 20-foot leash, and we didn't have the remote collar or anything, you would tug on their leash, right? And then it'd get their attention, and then if they got distracted and looked away, what would you do? You'd tug on their leash, and then it would get their attention back on you, and then they'd come on place. It's the exact same thing, except now we're utilizing technology in 2017, and we're utilizing the remote training collar. So you don't want to reset until the dog has got on the platform. Then you reset, drop it to 0, praise them, okay? Because that can happen. The dog halfway through the command can get distracted and you're just gonna carry on right where you left off. Another thing that's really important is as soon as your dog starts to do the command that you're asking him to do, praise the crap out of them, man. Praise them as much as you can. I'm an advocate on this. I mean, because this training is a happy medium of both. It's lots and lots of praise, love, and affection, but it's also steering them in the right direction when they don't do the right thing, just like raising a child. So let's say I'm asking him to come, right? Come here, buddy, come. Boom, he starts coming to me. Good boy, good puppy. Most of the time, 9 dogs out of 10, as soon as you start praising him and you completely change your demeanor into a happy, proud moment, proud emotion, they're gonna speed up with that command and be like, oh, he wants me to do that, ooh, and they get all happy, excited. So let's look at the opposite of that. Imagine if I did this, come. Most of the time they slow down and they're confused. They're like, oh, okay, well, is that not what you wanted me to do? I've tested this, it's true. Your mannerisms and your excitement has so much to do with this. It's all about communicating with your dog in the right way, and we cover all those aspects, and that's why this training works so well. So, 1 chance per level. Are you right-handed? If you're right-handed, screen is facing down, right? If you're left-handed, screen is facing up. Now, I'm never gonna tell you, hey, Bobby, turn it to an 8, then turn it to a 10, then turn it to a 12. I'm never gonna say that, okay? It's just about training you to make these slight turns with the dial, with the remote. So what I want you to do for the next couple nights is while you're driving in the car or while you're sitting in bed or sitting on the couch and laying in bed, make sure the collar's not on your dog and practice by doing this. Come, and then looking at the screen. That's the only time I'm gonna tell you to look at the screen is when you're practicing. Why? Because you're making sure that you're not spinning it like 15 in a turn, okay? A proper spin, I'll show you what a proper spin should look like. All right, so a proper spin should look somewhat like this. Come, turn it up, 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 come, turn it up. Notice how there's no type of increment, 5, 10, 15, 20, 2, 4, 6, 8. It's just slight turns. Come, turn it up, come, turn it up, come, turn it up. What it doesn't look like is this. Come. That's wrong, all right? You want small turns. So, small turns is important. Come, turn it up, come, turn it up, come, turn it up, drop it back down to 0. Rule of thumb, I usually tell my clients 5 to 8, roughly, in a turn is good to go. All dogs differ, but on average, 75% of dogs, that's how small my turns are. The way we praise, again, it's the command, and then we praise it. That's really important. That's part of the communication aspect. The release word is break, all right? So break means you can get up and do whatever the heck you want to do, Fido. Whatever you want to do, get up and do it. So keep in mind, if you have a high drive German Shepherd, Belgian Malinois, or whatever the breed is, and he's sitting there staring at a squirrel, and he's in command, and you don't want him to chase that squirrel, don't break him. Give him another command or bring him to a come. Because if you break him, he's gone. He's going after it. That's really important. Now, I just broke down the really important stuff, all right? I'm sure your trainer, whoever it may have been, whether it's me or somebody else, went into the nitty-gritty and got even more broken down and it's even more details in your turnover, okay? But this is for you to just reference back to if you have any questions. Key thing is, for the next couple weeks, have this collar on your dog as much as possible. Only have it on him when you're able to give him commands, all right? Think to yourself, can I give him a command right now? He should have it on. If you're gone, he shouldn't have it on. If he's in the crate, they shouldn't have it on. If he's not being supervised and not able to receive commands, he should not have it on, okay? And you don't want this on your dog for more than 8 to 10 hours straight in a day. Just it being on that snug might give a little bit of sores. So what I tell people, if you live a lifestyle where you're with your dog for 20 hours a day between the household or whatnot, just around the halfway point around lunchtime or whatnot, just move the box from here over to here. All right, so you want this collar on your dog as much as possible. If you're able to give him commands, do it. Give him commands for the next 2 to 3 weeks, because that's the trial week period. That's where they're going to test you, and they're going to try to see what they can or cannot get away with. And it's your responsibility to hold them accountable, just like we have in the past 14 days. All right, congratulations on your new well-behaved dog. If you guys have any questions, reach out to me or any of my trainers. You can reach me personally at tom@offleashcaninetraining.com. Our phone number is 844-955-6559. Also, don't forget to leave us a review on any of our platforms, Facebook, Yelp, Thumbtack. We love reviews. That's what continues our business, gets our business continually growing year after year, and we appreciate you and we appreciate your business. Have a good week.